All right, today I'm going to talk about aquascaping. So this is a 70-gallon tank, which is a really nice size because it has a big footprint. It's got the 18-inch depth going back. So there's tons of different ways to aquascape, and it's all personal preference at some point, but there are some basic building blocks that you can learn from and kind of get a better setup than just throwing stuff in there. So I'm going to go through like 5 or 6 different arrays of how to set it up using different materials. So today I'm looking at this rock. It's actually a coral type rock, and it's really nice. You can see these pieces are not as green as these because they haven't been in the tank. So over time, sometimes they'll turn green with algae and things like that, but that's a natural process. So if it really bothers you that your rocks are going to be turning green, then you might not want to get these kind of rocks because they will get that green tint to them, and it's hard to clean off, let's say that. But again, the algae that's growing on them is actually healthy for your tank. So anyways, I got a big set of these rocks, and one other thing is these do bleed off alkaline, so it raises the pH in your tank slightly. So if you're using acidic type fish, you might want to avoid these, but they're great for African cichlids and a lot of other cichlids. But the thing I wanted to talk about before I put these in the tank is how do you determine how to set your tanks, the rocks in your tank. So a lot of times if you look at a rock like this, it's kind of bulky. I call that a building block rock. Same with this one. So what you want to do is you can take a rock like that and then put another rock maybe like this, and then you come over to a flatter rock and you can kind of start building your cave system if you want caves. Again, there's different ways to do it. I'm going to go through probably 3 different ways of how you could utilize these rocks to help your fish enjoy their environment. So here we go. The first setup we're going to do is we're going to do a middle setup where it's kind of an outcropping in the middle. We're just going to kind of stack the rocks towards the middle and then disperse as you go out. And that gives the fish territories to go around but not necessarily defend. So if you were to set up caves, that's more territorial. You might have more issues with your fish trying to defend territory. So if I stack them in the middle, there's less territory, but it still provides some cover and some rocks for them to go around and kind of explore. So I like to start with a bigger rock like this. It's kind of a base rock. It's very solid. It's going to sit on the bottom of the tank nicely. Just kind of twist it in there a little bit to make sure it grips on the gravel. Again, a couple more rocks that are sort of base-like. Like gaps between these rocks so the fish can go in between them too. It's kind of a detailed setup. And then when you stack them, you want to make sure they kind of lock in place so they don't accidentally tip over and crack your glass. So as you can see, I'm kind of building up the middle. Making sure they're really solid. That's really locked in there. That's a good thing about these rocks is they kind of have these crevices that allow them to engage in each other. So now that I have this set up, I'm going to kind of just pull it out a bit, space it out a bit. You can see that I made some nice caves so the fish can go in and out. This is actually a pretty cool rock because it's got a lot of holes in it, so if your fish ever spawn and have babies, there's hiding spots. So that would be an example of middle cropping the rocks. So there's plenty of room for them to swim around.